Now I'm getting nervous.
Something said,
What's good, everyone? This is your guy, the Prophet. I am finally here with my amazing friend from On Target Action Park, Jenny States. Wow, I'm so pleased and happy to have you finally on here. We've been talking about this for so long. You're finally here. Before we get started, Jen, before we get started on this amazing topic, motivation and condition, the fans and the people would love to know who you are, what's your role at OTP, and what just motivates you so much to just do what you do.
that's a lot of questions all at once, but I think I can remember. um, Jenny States on Target Paintball. I'm the general manager. I am also an advocate and a very proactive, passionate person when it comes to paintball realm and life in general. Um, I have worked there for about 3.5 years, and I so enjoy it. I also have a very big life outside of paintball, but it kind of all combines together. And let's see, what motivates me? Well, just about everything, but in the paintball realm, helping people, because paintball is much more than a game. It's a part of life, and we use paintball for outlets for people that are going through things, for working out, for motivation and conditioning, which is another topic that you want to talk about tonight as well.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, so it's been a pleasure to be a part of it and to watch the paintball world grow as well, and to bring our children and our families into that whole scene, to give them much more than they had ever expected.
Okay,
So yeah.
okay. Wow, that was a lot. But no, Jen. Before I get started one last time, I know. Actually, let's talk about how we met. Let's talk about how we met. I believe we met. I won't get this wrong. I want to say, was it 2021 when we met? I want to
I
say
think that's about
2021.
right, because that was before the warfare game. That was
It
before.
was before warfare. It was okay.
Yeah,
Now my memory is refreshing. Now it was before warfare.
yeah, and we
Yeah.
had like this really deep conversation, and you didn't even know, like, I was like, we went totally off into this like deep
Yeah.
conversation, and
Yeah.
I mean, we just kind of connected because we have a lot of shared values. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what brought us into that conversation. And it just like progressed from there. And, it's been a pleasure knowing you. And I'm like so excited that I have someone in my life like you, to bring more abundance to my life. It's just great, good stuff.
Well, Jen, the honor is mine. I wouldn't have met you if I didn't ask that one question. I believe the question was about paint or first strikes being, I think, being used, or can I purchase any some? Because I think I left some home, and I think that's when it all just triggered. From there, everything just went amazing with us ever since that one question was that. So the honor is mine, if anything. Honor is mine. I thank you for being in my life. I thank you for helping the community, MagFed, and the paintball world. You've done such an amazing job with that. You have always, had our back, and I love that about you. I truly do, and that's what motivates us to keep coming to OCP, to keep going, and motivate me to be the best leader I can be for the community.
Can I tell you a secret? But
You
it's not
sure I can.
because everybody's going to know. And I tell everybody anyway.
Yeah.
Really, the first Saturday of every month when the MagFed community comes to the paintball field, it's like a whole different energy. And it warms my heart to see everybody. And like, you guys have a different unity than I've ever seen before. So it was I was mesmerized by it. I'm like, I couldn't believe seeing everyone and how they interact. And it's like, it's a brotherhood and a sisterhood.
Yeah.
And that's what really got me like excited about it. And to And then when I got to know everyone, it's like, you guys are just amazing. Like, I just wanted to get to know everybody and learn about your backgrounds and who's doing what and where you're from. And it's like super cool. And I feel like that Saturday I get to see my family.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because whenever we come out every first Saturday of the month, you're right. There is a different atmosphere, a different experience, different blessing coming there. A lot of people there love us. I love everyone as a staff. I love everyone as a person, paintballer, magfed player, all that good stuff. It just motivates me to keep going every time we come out. And I'm always there to motivate people. I'm always there to keep them going, even when I have a bad day, which I don't have bad days. If anything, I have days of frustration, but it's never anger. But we all get that, sometimes.
We do, even me sometimes. And it's hard and you have to check yourself. And sometimes I have to do that too, and go back, and I have to deal with a lot of people, and they're not always in the right state of mind. So I have to try to check myself to make sure I'm being right with my values, and making sure that I'm not stepping out of my line. But it does happen. But sometimes when that does happen, we can humble ourselves and kind of reel back a little bit and take a different perspective. And it takes a lot, but to come back into the situation with a new perspective and a new set of eyes, I humble myself. And when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is. I'm human. Um, but I stop fighting that, and I start to look at things like, okay, I can be wrong, and it's okay. And then we start fresh from there again. We all do it. We all have it. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah,
I'm far, far from perfect.
yeah. I agree. I agree 1,000% with that. You know, um, life always hits me in different directions, and my perspective always changes constantly. So it's never the same at all. It's never the same. But you know what, Jen? My question just hit me. The first question that hit me. I remember we had a conversation when you got back from your trip a few months ago. You was telling me that you went to different fields, um, and you got a chance to see, where they was at in life. As in business, and I'm assuming in life as well. Um, you were saying that a lot of changes were being made at different fields. So for you to see all this, at different fields that you traveled to and saw, how did that motivate and change you, not only as a person, but as a leader in our community?
Well, it wasn't actually different fields. I went to a convention for the paintball realm for paintball. So I went to the convention and I met all of the different field owners and operators. And we all got together in a forum and actually, like, in a unity to come together to for the changes. So to see that, we viewed pictures, we went over our backgrounds, our fields, what we're doing. So that was where that conversation started, because being able to go into that world and spend, like, I think we were there for about a week. I really got to know many field owners, and standing out of the crowd also was a gentleman from Dominican Republic, and that's Los Griols Paintball. So Ari is a really good friend of ours, and we wanted to reach out to him to say, hey, like, how can we help? We all have our struggles with different fields, but for in general, him being where he is, it's a struggle for him to get certain things in. So, and he was kind of a new owner. So we wanted to, reach out and help him. And in turn, he helps us as well, with his wonderful personality and connections. Um, he came to On Target Paintball. So when he left the actual extravaganza, he flew to New York to visit some family, and then he came down to On Target, and we actually got to show him our field. And in turn, we try to keep, our communication together. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that we have that, we're sending over there. And, good dude, man. And he hooked us up with a really good connection as far as, Defy Paint, David from Defy Paint. And he was there as well, like at the extravaganza. So being able to get into that realm, it's just seeing all of that makes such a big difference. New things going on in the field, is that what another question that you had piggybacked off that?
Yeah. My question was, because I know you said that you got a chance to meet a lot of people there, a lot of owners there, and you got a chance to see or hear a lot of their changes in their field. You know, what what could you have done, or what could have OTP have done better, or can do better for us to keep going? As a whole community all together at OTP.
I think we're trying to bring in the younger generation to and just everybody in general, but between the younger generation, the kids, like having this like get off the sofa, get out of the video games, and get in the field and play your video game, socialize with people.
Yeah.
A lot of kids are stuck on the computer and stuck in these. I mean, the games are great, but why not bring it to life? We've got obese, where everyone's, fighting the war against obesity. And even the owner, John, he sees this, and, this is a motivation to get these kids in here. Also, working with people that need some healing, because that's what I do. I'm a healer. So it's definitely a passion of mine. And when I can see that there's another avenue to get to people, because for me in general, being a massage therapist and doing the things I do, um, I want to go into the paintball world and I want to pull people in to show them that paintball is healing and it's really good for your soul. And, motivating it is great exercise. So uh, definitely there are challenges, of course, between the cost of paintball. So that's a challenge with everyone, with
Mhm.
everything. Right now it's, really hard for some people to afford it. It's not cheap. Um, and then the kids, getting the parents to bring the kids. And we do have parents that bring their kids, and it's amazing to see. So we want to try to get them out and, give better deals and work things out so they can come in and invest in it. It's about bringing that community in. So there are challenges, yeah. Um, and definitely we want to see more kids. We want to see more of, families and, you know, and then in the MagFed community, even as well, I'm sure, how we operate. We want to bring those kids in and teach them and show them how great it is.
Wow, that was deep.
Sorry.
But you mentioned that you are a healer. Um, can you talk a little bit more about that? You're a healer, so you are a healer off the field and on the field. But off the field, you are a healer because you go to. You go ahead and say it. I don't think I want to say it. Yeah, you go ahead and just break it down to me and tell everyone.
Well, I've been a licensed massage therapist, and I'm also a Reiki, and Reiki, what number one white light Reiki. Um, I also am a holistic practitioner. So I do a lot of healing on the side with my business. I work as a also motivation. So I'm a certified life coach, a certified health coach, and I'm also a kickboxing fitness instructor. So I teach a blended class at Drills for Skill Sports, which is also an amazing place. Um, but I teach a blended class between kickboxing and interval hit training. So I teach there and I do that. And yeah, so I have a family full of healers, nurses, doctors, and massage therapists. And so that's my calling. That's who I am. I am a healer.
Interesting. And I don't think I never mentioned this to you ever, but I thought about my next degree. Right now, I'm looking to go into my bachelor's degree for communication, but I'm thinking about counseling. Being a counselor. You know, for my masters, I believe for my masters because I remember something about that. Only because I love talking to people, and when I talk to people, I'm inspired by the things that I can do and they can do better. Because as a healer, you're there to heal people. You're there to help them get on their feet, find a back to life, but also some things changing you as well. You know, and that's why a lot of people say, you know, don't be perfect, but have perfection in your life. Be perfection in your life, and we all strive every day for perfection. You know, I would believe and assume to be the best version of ourselves. And so I'm always inspired by you, Jen. When you always say you're a healer, because that gives me so much thoughts every single day. Me being a speaker for a living. I don't just speak to school, programming, and churches, but I'm also a speaker on Instagram Live. I'm also a speaker when I make videos. I'm also a speaker when I'm in the gaming world. Like a lot of things that I do, I speak. And speaking always require the words healing. When you're talking to someone, you can feel that presence of healing. Like people need healing. Like, we all need healing from something. We all got something that we deal with on a regular daily basis, but it's our job to just keep going, keep pushing ourselves and pushing others. And so there's a quote I want to say, or it could just be a saying. I'm gonna find it real quick, and now it's starting to hit me now even more into this conversation. So I want to say last Tuesday I spoke at my aunt memorial, and I did the eulogy, and I remember telling people, a few notes that I gave to them, which also inspired me to keep going and to keep striving because the goal for my aunt, on reading her life story was two things that I saw was that I kept writing over and over and over and over, and it was keep going and do your own thing. That to me was probably the most deepest, powerful thing I've ever just flat out said. Where is it? All right,
While
you
you're
got
looking for that, I, when I get to talk to people, sometimes I ask them. Like I was speaking with, actually, it was my stepdad's father, and he was 95,
yeah,
and even my grandmother. And I said, how do you keep on going? He was riding a bike and drinking
yeah,
a Heineken, like at 94 years old. Like I'm like, how do you do that? And he said, you know what he told me? He said, don't stop moving. That's what he told me.
yeah. Don't stop. You can't stop moving.
Don't
You
ever
can't
stop
stop.
moving. And it's
Yeah,
so true. It's so true.
because the moment you stop, it's gonna feel like your life just is on pause. And man, I have felt that many times over before. And that's why I'm always motivated by people. And I give you a prime example. My mother, she is an ongoing person who just keeps going. I remember when my father passed away, she kept going, and despite of her loss of being married to a man for over 30 something years, um, she just kept going, because she knows if she stopped, her whole life is going to collapse and things will fall into a whole different places. It's like pieces, it's like making a puzzle, and we mess up that one time, you never know it. It just all might go away, and so that's what it basically feels like. It feels like I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I just saw some comments here.
So,
Butter, hey, what's up, everyone? And
hi guys. Sorry, I
Marco,
can't see any comments. So, which is kind of cool because I don't have my glasses on, and I need my glasses to see anything
yeah.
besides my pictures.
No, Marco Lord just said here, peace from the East Coast for everyone. Peace to you, my brother. But
You
yeah,
know,
I'm always motivated by that.
and interesting you say that too, because here's what happens: a lot of people, they use other people as their motivation
Yeah,
or things like that. And what happens is when the other person isn't keeping up on trying to motivate, which so they shouldn't have to, the person that, put that expectation on them is like, now, like, they're stopping, they're not going because now they're dependent on someone else. So really important that this is a self thing. This is not based on other people and what they do. This is all about you. These are your goals. This is only you. So you can't depend on someone else, your husband, your wife, your children, your best friends, anybody. It's got to be you and only you. And once you get in that zone,
mm,
it's really hard to get you off track. But if you're depending on someone else, it's easy to fall off, if that makes
yeah.
sense.
I agree with that 100, 1000%. And that's kind of reason why. Oh my God, another comment. Oh, okay, I do remember you, Honey Badger. Yes, we did talk about Honey Badger. I remember you now. PRZ, um, famous paintball film in Canada. I remember you now. Sorry, Jen.
No, that's okay.
But no, it's part of the reason why I'm always motivated to just keep going by myself. Not saying that it's a selfish thing, but I feel like in life you have to be selfish in order to reach your goals in life, to reach your standard. So for me, for example, getting my associate's degree was everything because I'm the first person in my family to actually get a college degree, and that was the biggest motivation of all. And so not only am I motivating myself, but I motivated my siblings, I motivated my cousins, my nieces, my nephews. I motivate people from all over who watches my platform or see me on social media. And a lot of time they are thinking the same thing. Can they do it? How can they do it? And so when they see someone like me on their platforms or in life, and they see how you're living and how you're going, they're motivated by that. And that's a prime example of why I took all the time, stay true to your character because you never was watching you. I'll give you a prime example. My aunt, I told a story at her eulogy, and I remember the first time I met her was actually, well, it was during my elementary days. I was probably, I want to say my second or third grade. I was a little bad in school at the time, but I remember um, always doing stuff in school, and she was always watching, but I never knew that she was my aunt. And to make a long story short, my dad will always beat me and stuff like that when I got home from school. And one day he takes me to a house around the corner from our house, and he had groceries. He had a new heater for her and everything. So we go into his house, this big house right around the corner from us, and I see that it's her. And so my eyes got big. I didn't know who she was to him at first, but then when I all got down to it, he said, "This is my sister." And so she calls me and tells me what you do at school. And so she's watching you every step of the way. And so from that point on, my life had forever changed after that. I began watching my surroundings with people. And so as I got older, I started to realize something. You never know who's watching you to see if you're staying true to yourself and to see if you're staying true to your best version of yourself. Because if they're watching you, trust and believe they're watching you because they want to see if they can follow you into being your best version as well. So they can be your best version. But the moment you show them that you're not doing that, that's when they say you're not who you are. And so I'm going to continue to keep doing what I've been doing, which is affecting me even more. And so I shared that with my family and friends at the memorial because it's important to always know what you're doing behind closed doors. You have to do what's right, even though it's hard. And trust me, we all go through struggles in life. I mean, everyone's struggling in life with something. But if you push yourself each and every day, I guarantee you, life will be different for you. And so that's why I put God first. That's why I continue to keep going in school, business, people. I just do what's right.
Yeah,
Sorry,
absolutely.
that was long. That was long.
No, 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 it's okay. But it's true. And boundaries. Like we all have personal boundaries and we really have to stick to those boundaries too, and which is even to ourselves, like holding our integrity. They say your integrity, is what you do when no one is looking, or how are you reacting to a situation? It's not about the situation, it's about, okay, so here's the thing. Everything's great. I'm happy. I'm like, yeah, life is great. I'm happy. I'm giving you my good vibes.
Yeah.
What happens when my life isn't going great? You know what I mean? Like, how does that change my perception and how do I act? Like, so if my life is not great and I'm like, oh, I'm down in the dumps and, like I can't have any energy for anything else, then, so learning that curve of, you know, it's great when things are great, but how do you act when things aren't great? How do you act when things aren't going your way? Are you like miserable and make everybody else miserable? Or do you push through it and try to get out of that? And it's not even about changing the situation. I was listening to Mel Robbins. Speaking of Mel Robbins is really cool. And I've watched her through the years, and that's given me some motivation as well because she has a different way of talking about things. And she coined some things that were really cool. But she was saying something like, okay, changing your mindset. So if there's a crappy situation, I don't know if I can curse on here, but I'm trying not to. If there's a crappy situation going on, and changing your mindset is not going to change the situation, but it's going to change how you deal with the situation. So dealing with something is definitely different and it will help you get through whatever struggles you're going through at the time.
I agree with that. Real quick, I have a few comments here. It says here, the first comment says here, you got to have self motivation, but having others as a guideline is sometimes better for some people. I love that.
Absolutely. But what happens when they're not there? You just can't depend on other people as much as you need to yourself. So I agree. I agree. Have 110% have as many people in your corner. Yes, absolutely. If they're not on your side, if they're not in your corner, then don't give energy to it. But you can't depend on someone in order to like reach your goals. You really have to know that when someone isn't around, that you still have to hold your integrity, like you said what you were going to do.
And that's actually from Calvin. You know what that is from who comes to Mac Day meetups.
What's up,
Yeah,
Calvin?
yeah,
What's
from
up?
Calvin.
I
All right.
totally agree. I mean, I love like the people around me. You know what? As an instructor, you know what motivates me? When
Motivation.
I have students in my class. When
Mm.
I have students in my class and I have a full class, man, I'm on top of the world. What happens if only one person shows up? You think, should I be giving that one person the same energy as I give 20 people? Heck yeah. Am I still teaching the class? Of course I am. That one person, boy, they get a really good personal training session, but I can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, nobody's coming, it's like doom and gloom. It can't be like that. I pick it up and then by the time I'm done teaching, even if it's one person, guess what? We're on top of the world when we're done. Feels good.
Okay, okay. Next comment, it says here from Butternuts. It says, surround yourself with others with the same ambition. You guys can feed off each other to be better. Mm.
100% too. Absolutely. Absolutely. I want some, my best friend, she's one of my best friends. I have like two of them. One is actually out of state, but my best friend who owns the gym that I actually work at, her and I motivate each other, but sometimes she's busy. But we always come back together, whether it's a week later or 2 weeks later. We definitely have the same goals, and I do surround myself with people that are like-minded
Yeah.
and that are like me. I don't have time if they're, I surround myself, I spend my time with them. If I don't spend time with someone, I'm still super nice person, but totally agree that with that too, for sure.
1000%. I agree with that as well. But I do want to piggyback off of what you said when you said, you enjoy your students and how if it's one person in the room, you never stop showing that same person that same instructions because just because you show 20 people in the room the same thing, it should always be the same. And I agree with that 1000%. And so it brings back memory of how when I speak in a room, on a topic, and I have over maybe 50 people or 100 people or 30 people. The most I ever had in a room probably was about 500 people speaking in the room, right? And so I can't say that every person in that room will get the message, but I can say that I'm inspired because so many people are listening to my message, and a lot of times I'm just going off the book because, I believe in being real. I believe in not just talking, but showing as well, the action of it. And so that's is what motivates me every single day when I wake up is to be motivated by people, because you never know who's watching you. And when people listen to you, they follow. They follow you. And I'll never forget this. I remember the first time I spoke. Oh, I'm sorry. I think the second or third time I spoke out was at my main campus, college. I remember it was two classes. It was social work class, and the other one was criminal justice class. So they both was combined. Both professors, decided to do that, and how they enjoyed it, right? And so I remember I was so nervous. Oh man, but I just kept going. I kept going either way, and sorry, I remember speaking, and after that I asked questions. Well, they asked me questions, and there was so many people there who asked me questions that I was surprised to hear. And one of the questions was asked was, "How do you be calm or be humble in a situation where you could lose your life, where things won't go your way at that given moment in time?" Um, what was the last one? Forget the last one, but those two were, really the main ones. And it struck me, and the only thing I could tell that person was you just have to, you know, yeah, you have to be careful. You have to be humble. Though in spite of the situation, you just have to just stay the course. Stay the course. And I got that from Eric Thomas, Inky Johnson, Les Brown, and Bob Proctor. Those are my top five speakers of all times. because they all say the same thing. You have to stay the course, no matter the circumstances, don't matter the situation, stay the course, because it will be in your favor, you know, once you stay the course. But the moment you don't stay the course, things go downhill for you. You'll be messed up from it, and you won't come back from it. And that's why I tell people all the time, keep going, keep striving, you know, fill your mind with greatness. Tell yourself to, like, I give myself a goal every year, and a lot of time I give myself 2 or 3 goals a year. Like, for example, this year my biggest goal was to finish my associate's degree. That was one. My second biggest goal was to start traveling and be more connected with people, on in the paintball community, and also in schools, which I'm doing very well at. And my third goal is my business. Keep my business going at all times. Don't stop, because I can take off at any given moment. And so I believe that I'll be taking off my business the end of this year. Yeah.
That's great. Well, I have a question for you now. Do you have a specific thing that you do? Because we all have our kind of like, we all do something, I think, anyway. I do, and I don't know if you do. But when it comes time where you can kind of go either way, do you do something? Is there something you have in your head that you play over and over, or that like that motivates you to like get up and like move or do what you're doing, or to do something hard if you're going to do something tough or scary or anything like that? Do you like have a specific thing that you do?
I sure do. There's two quotes that plays in my head every single day and every single night, just so I can keep going through the course and just keep doing the right thing. And so I'm going to share it right now with you guys. First of all, I don't got it. Yeah. So the first one is, the man that views the world at 40, same way he views the world at 20, has wasted 20 years of his life. That's the first quote it plays in my mind over and over and over. Second quote is, you are born looking like your mother and your father, but you die looking like your decision. The second quote. And so I want to break this down to you. The first quote is, the reason why I said it is because I see so many people in life who are, up at age 40s, 50s, 60s as well. And I see that not many things changed in them. Not judging it like that, but I see that many things change in them. Because a lot of time when I talk to them, it's like they want to do right, they want to do better, they want to do more, but they can't. And so they always encourage me to keep going, to keep striving, to keep doing the right things. But I tell them, I remember I told one of the men this. I said, how can someone listen to you if you're not doing the right things yourself? I said, I agree with what you're saying to me. I'm not wrong at that at all. But I'm telling you this for a reason, because I love you. You never know who's listening to you, and who is watching you or seeing what you're doing. You have to do right. You have to do the right things, because people are watching your every movement, your every step, and a lot of times they look at you as a hypocrite. And that's one of the reasons why I have to stay focused. I have to just keep going. I have to keep striving, just to be great in life. It's not about being perfect. It never will be about being perfect. It was always about, you know, giving yourself that drive every moment, every morning, every night. When I wake up, the first thing I do is pray. That's what motivates me the most, is prayer. The second thing is, family. I do everything for my family. It's never about me. It was never about me, but that's the second thing. And the third thing is people. Like, I come across people all the time. People always on my platform, my social media, and they see what I do and how I do things, and they love it. And so it motivates me to keep going. And even if they don't see it, even if they just looking, even if they don't want to respond or show love, regardless, I'm still keep going regardless. It never stops. Second quote, which was, "You were born like your mother and your father, but you die like your decision." I have seen so many young men, who didn't make it past 18, 21, and even 30, which is to me motivation, because that could have been me at any given moment. That could have been me if I didn't listen to my mother and my father. That could have been me if I didn't take heed to the people in my life who love and care for me so much that they want to see me grow and win. And so I'm just motivated each and every day by people around me, and even if they're not around me, I'm still motivated because I have myself to think. So it's important for me to keep going. That's why I have this T-shirt right here called the Prophet Wolf, you know, and things like that is what motivates me. And on the backside it says here, vision, purpose, character. Three things that I stand by every single day. You have to know your purpose. You have to know why you're here on Earth. It's a book I read, by the way, by Rick Warren. What on earth are you here for? That book is so amazing. I didn't finish it, by the way, but that's one of the books that I've read that kept me alive, that kept me living. It kept me in my right state of mind every single time I read that book. And I also feel like in that book, God was just talking to me. God was giving me answers. He was giving me questions. He was telling me, how to do life, like how to live, you know, and don't worry about people. If you can get past people, I guarantee you will be the best version of yourself. And that's what it's about. You have to get past your tests, your trials. You have to get past the things that is affecting you, because if you don't, you're gonna. It's like a repeating cycle that you keep going over and over and over and over and over. And when does it end? It has to end sooner or later, because if it doesn't, it's going to kill you. It's just like what the Joker said in Darkness Rise. Whatever don't kill you makes you stronger.
Mm. Yeah, I've heard that so many times. I've
Yeah,
even said it myself.
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I went so deep into that. I was just supposed to answer that, short and simple. But yeah,
that's okay. That's
yeah,
okay. We all have our, like, I know when I'm going through something really difficult, and it's something like I go into my heart, and what I listen to my body. So there's two things that I do. There's a mind part, but there's also a whole body part. So I feel a lot in my body, but when I'm going through something super, super difficult, I always look at the older version of me, and I come back to myself as my older version to give myself a little bit more of advice on what I should do about a situation. Besides listening to my body, if I could go ahead 20 years from now, what would that Jenny in 20 years tell me right now to do? And usually when I do that, it really just turns that whole perspective around, and I don't feel like I'm like kind of stuck.
yeah.
And you feel like I can kind of get out of something that's like really pending. But so happened Mel Robbins again, she coined something that I actually do every morning, and it's really helpful because I love to sleep in. I like to go to bed late, but in the morning it's really hard for me to get up. So I motivate myself, and I actually count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When I hit 1, myself is out of my bed, jumped up, out, done, let's go. Um, it's so easy to hit that snooze button. And trust me, I'm not perfect, but when I go to get out of bed, that's what I say every morning. And it's become a habit. And so I've conditioned on another subject that you have in our subject tonight is conditioning. I've conditioned myself to do that in my head. Or when I have to go and do something like that, I feel uncomfortable or I'm scared. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bam, get it done. Just do it. Just like tonight. I did that right before you went live. I'm like, Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it.
Yeah, because sorry, I'm making a post. So everyone can please finish this podcast. This is getting very deep, and I love it so much because a lot of times I try to stay on topic, but man, sometimes people, not sometimes, all the time, people need to hear the right things, and that's what keep us going, because you just never know. You really never know what somebody's going through, and that leads me to now condition. You never know what someone could. Sorry. You never know what someone's condition is, in life. That could really change, be a life changer for them. And I'll give you a prime example. I'll never forget. There's a guy who still to this day um, goes on my lives. He was living in his car for some time. He was, losing jobs, stuff like that. And man, him watching my podcast, him, watching my quotes on my page, my personal page, and my paintball page, it motivated this guy, But him seeing me just keep going, waking up and just grinding every single day. And now this guy lives in an apartment now. Now he's constantly working on his business, on his jobs now, And that's what I love the most is when people tell you these great things that was happening to them, and now look what they're at, And it's always amazing. And I always tell people, don't stop, never stop, don't get discouraged of what's happening to you, don't ever question God on anything because it's a reason why He has you here. I'm not saying you're meant to be home, stuff like that, but it's always a blessing when you're in a situation because now you see how humble and how grateful you are. And that's why it's important for us to always be mindful of the things that we do in life. Because just imagine if I wasn't living right. Just imagine if I wasn't doing the right things, where would he be at? If he didn't see these things, would he be in a worse situation? Would he still be homeless? And that's something I always ask myself this question, where would this guy be at if he didn't see me do the things that I'm doing right now? By
Yeah,
the way, he's one of my best friends. I grew up with this guy years and years ago. He's a great guy. He's actually an actor now. Great actor, by the way. Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Well, that's part of, in the realm of healing, giving people motivation and showing them these things. Like that's what you do, and a lot of people see that, and that's really cool. And continue it, even if nobody watched, and like people stopped, and you had like a whole month where you didn't have a single person on there. Or are you going to stop?
yeah,
Heck no, you're going to keep on going. And that's what we
yeah,
have to know, that even though somebody's not there watching, we're going to keep on going. And then when it's time, they will see it. Or in the next month, you're going to have 20 people listening and not just one, So that's where we can't let that motivation and fly down because we're not seeing what we want to see because we put big expectations on things.
yeah,
And my mom used to tell me, don't expect anything and you'll never be disappointed. But that is from people. Don't expect things from people and you won't be disappointed. So, and I think that's more on the lines of, well, friendships, relationships, things like that. You have to be mindful of that, but and definitely conditions and conditioning. So go ahead. I think I cut you off for a second. Sorry.
No, no, you didn't cut me off at all. I actually enjoy the conversation. You're just saying, but no, I mean, condition is that's honestly very deep. To tell you the truth, and I'm just going to tell you why. For example, me being a boxer or used to be a boxer, I used to box a lot. I used to enjoy, the sparring. I enjoy, just the amount of work I put in, for 6 hours, 8 hours, in boxing, and it's worth it. I mean, for example, I can say for example, but I remember last Sunday being on Chocolate Tango Paintball from Canada. I remember he asked me a question. He said, I see that you do boxing a lot, that you post your shadow boxing. What got you into that? And so my story was, after my father passed away, um, that's what motivated me to go into boxing was him. He was actually one of the guys that used to watch it a lot. Me, my brother, my cousins, we always watched boxing. But that was crazy. He looked just like Muhammad Ali growing up. I mean, this man had everything that Muhammad Ali had. And come to find out that Muhammad Ali is actually our cousin. Never knew until he passed away. So sad. And another scary, shocking part, Muhammad Ali passed in August of 2016. I believe it was August 16th he passed away. My dad passed away October of 2016. And his birthday was August 12th. So it was a few days after Muhammad Ali passed away. And so that to me was the strangest thing I have ever looked into. And when I found out that he was our cousins, because someone reached out to me and they heard about my dad passing, he literally just told me everything about family, that I never knew, and that's what kind of motivated me even more to know my family. See me and tell me that we have cousins from this state, that state, this country, and I don't know none of these guys. And so that's what got me hyped up about boxing. So I tried it out. I loved it, and I didn't realize that I had a gift in boxing. I didn't realize that at all. But yeah, I had a little small gift in boxing. My brother was more so the big time boxer. He used to box for Joe Frazier, boxing at his gym for years since he was about 10 years old. Um, he could have went pro and everything, but life changed, life happened to him, so in his way. But just to be you know, in that realm was amazing for me. It gave me a lot of inspire, you know, inspiration by people because I really just enjoyed the work ethic, the commitment of it. I wasn't cheating. I wasn't, letting life get to me. It kept me uh, 10 toes up. It kept me focused. Oh man, I just remember the sweat, the tears, the blood. It was everything to me, And man, I was fighting some big dudes. I was fighting guys that was like 6'4", 6'5", sparring them. I spar a lot of guys smaller than me, my size. So it was a challenge. Don't get me wrong. It was a big challenge for that, and that's part of the reason why I have the name, the Prophet Wolf. Because I was a wolf in boxing. I can say that I was definitely a wolf. Because no one, not one person that I sparred said that I was a bum. Said that I couldn't box. A lot of them gave me my respect. A lot of them saw that I had full potential, but I just gave up on boxing. I chose to work a regular 9 to 5. I chose to just have money in my pocket, and I didn't push myself more and more to get into it. But I'm here now, and I love what I do for a living, and I feel like my purpose is people and being in their lives and being commitment to the things that I said I was going to do long after I put the mold in it. And boxing will forever be in my heart. So I will always watch boxing.
Definitely a part of your life that has made such a big difference. And so that's sometimes when things aren't there, but we got what we needed out of that to get to where we are today.
Yeah, that was the goal. That was the ultimate goal, was to be in it, learn from it, get what you need out of it, get the tools out of it, and then go to the next step. More so next room. I'm big on the next room. I feel like if you're the smartest guy in that room, you're not so smart. You need to go to the next room and go to the next step. And that's how I treat life now. So whenever I'm in a group or whatever you want to call it, or do whatever. Once I get the tools I need from that, I'm going to the next group. That's how I look at life now.
Mine's chapters. So
Yeah.
I have,
Okay. Chapters. Yeah.
yeah,
I never thought about that. Chapters too.
new page, new
Yeah. A
chapter,
new journey. Yeah. A whole new journey.
book, but the same book because my book is beautiful. And as much as I've been through in my life, and
Yeah.
there's been a lot, and you know what? I just wouldn't change it. I wouldn't. If someone asked me if I could go back and change my past, I wouldn't. As much as I've been through, it makes me who I am today, and it brings tears to my eyes. So because I love me, and I love where I'm going, and if it wasn't for those things, I don't know. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for
Yeah.
a lot that people sometimes don't realize, when you go through those hardships. Like, I'm grateful for my ex-husband. I'm grateful for my, you know what I mean? Like the past of with me that some people say, oh, I wish I would have went back and did it differently, but I don't know. It is what it is. I'm not thinking about the past. That's why the rear view mirror is so small and the windshield is so big. I don't think about that stuff. I just want to keep moving. I just want to like move forward and keep doing and, experiencing life. Yeah, for sure. Experiencing life. And I do, I keep thinking in my head as we go back and, I do surround myself with awesome people. I just can't even tell you. Like, everyone around me is amazing. The people I conversate with, the people that I spend my time with, that I give my time, that's my number one precious thing is my time. I value my time. So when I look at where I'm spending my time, it's in the value part of the people around me that are like-minded, that have goals and that we motivate and energize and I seem to pull people like people were attracted by Mr. Bob Proctor, you can say it yourself,
Yeah.
that energy, that attraction, the law of attraction. And we start to bring in the people that are good for us and that are in line with our goals. They come close to us and that's important. And even with the paintball realm too,
Yeah.
back on paintball, I've pulled in like the people that have the same goals as me. In fact, I play paintball too. Like the MagFed community, first of all, really is what I geared me into playing paintball. And now I'm on a paintball team too. And which our team, Assassins Alliance, is the same as me. Like we're all in the same, we all are like-minded. And it's
Yeah.
more than paintball, way more than paintball. Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm not good at paintball. I mean, like I'm decent, of course,
Yeah.
because I'm a avid shooter and I used to hunt and do all that stuff. Of course, I've been shooting since I was 4 years old. So it really got me. But man, what an amazing group that I surround myself with. I props to you guys, assassins, thank you. And you in my life as well, so like everybody I meet brings something really cool to my life. And thank you all.
Well, Jen, thank you as well. I can't thank you more enough. But it's a quote. Something I wrote here. I wrote this. When did I write this? I wrote this actually 3/1/22. So I wrote this in March of last year. It says here, the peace I have now was worth everything I lost. What's your thoughts on that?
The peace you have now is worth everything you've lost. Yeah, for sure. Um, but what did you really lose?
I didn't lose anything. I didn't personally lose
I mean,
anything.
like, as far as like, if you look at it, like, you really didn't, you gained. You really
Yeah,
did, but you had to
yeah,
lose parts that weren't serving you,
yeah.
or situations that weren't serving you, or people that weren't serving you as your highest good. Like, they weren't in line with you. So if you've lost someone, in as far as, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that, because we lose people as far as, they pass away, and we do lose people in our lives unexpectedly. But if we're moving on and changing, and we're losing a part of our life,
Mm.
then that didn't serve us, then we definitely are gaining peace. That's all. You know what? Um, One of my best friends, he told me, he said, if it affects your peace, Jen, and of course that's blackout. If He said, Jen, if it affects your peace, make it go. And it's so true. And I took his words, and I think about it on other occasions too. When I'm in a situation, that's the first thing I ask myself: is this affecting my peace? And if it does, then I know what I need to do.
Mm. Jen, I'm so ready to think about everything you're saying to me right now. I'm processing it, and I have to go back. I have to rewind for a second. You mentioned that you would not go back in time for anything. You don't want to go back in time for anything. And I remember a question was asked, of me on my podcast a few months ago. Shout out to Coyote Force for this. Me and him have so much in common. Now, this man asked me the deepest question I've ever answered, by anyone. He said, if you can go back in time and change how things happen to your dad and yourself, would you do it? And I remember getting so emotional about that. I get so emotional thinking about my father because he was the best man I have ever had in my life. Can't no man replace that. Can't no man tell me that they're better than this man. Not one person on this earth can say that. When I tell you that I just like him, I just like him even more because he was for the people, his family. He always worked. He always kept clothes on our back, food at the table, and he brought authority and peace to your life. He wasn't no boss or nothing, but this man knew how to have a family. And that person was asking me, my answer to him was no. I said, as much as I kept playing that in my head, will I go back in time and fix that? I can't. I can't. Even if God had given me a choice, a chance to go back in time to fix that, I can't do that. It's too much is at stake right now. I have so much to lose right now, as in people, relationships. So much I have learned over the years that has made me the man I am today. That has given me the peace, given me the love, the joy. I have become one of the best people of myself. I consider myself an all-time greatest. That's how I look at my life. I am at the all-time greatest. I'm in my prime right now. I'm doing everything that I said I was going to do. You know, every single word I said to myself and the people, I'm doing it. I've been doing it. I'm not stopping. Because I wasn't always like this, Jen. I tell you that. I will tell you that. I will tell you that I was not always like this. I wasn't a true person at one point. I wasn't true on my word. I wasn't even true to myself. I used to betray myself all the time. I let the things get the best of me. I dealt with people, who have affected me, but more so, it wasn't their fault. It was my fault because I allowed it to happen. And so there was a quote I wrote about 4 years ago. No, I'm sorry, 5 years ago. And the quote was, "You are responsible for how that person hurt you and haunt you." So I taught myself this 5 years ago, and every time I read that, I keep beating myself up about that. It just wouldn't stop. And so when I finally got the sense knocked in my head, I realized that, man, life is so much greater if you just learn to just give it to God. Life is so much greater if you just put your foot down, keep your head up, keep walking in the right direction, keep going in the right direction. Stop going curvy to curve, stop stopping, because keep stopping, it's going to keep happening to you over and over and over. And so now I am more to myself. I'm very selfish to myself. I have boundaries, like you said earlier, boundaries to myself and the people. I don't cross no line. I don't play around with nobody. I am a down to earth person, but trust and believe, I have boundaries, and I will respect that and honor that the most. And so, no, I could never go back in time and fix what happened to my father. I could never go back in time and fix the things that I did to people, hurt people. I could never do that at all. And I'm just so happy right now where I'm at. I'm blessed to be where I'm at. I'm blessed to meet you. I'm blessed to meet the community. I'm blessed to meet people from all over the world. I'm blessed to meet people in my community, back in where I'm at, home, my church, schools. So many people. I'm just blessed all the way around, And there's a saying, an old saying, in church. If you were favored by God, he will reveal so much to you in time that you're gonna look at all that and you're gonna say, "Wow, like this is amazing." It's not even too much. It's amazing where I'm at right now because I'm just happy to be here. Why would you stop at any given moment and take a pause in your life when God is pushing you further into what He got for you? And it's a story that I share with people that I spoke in front of. Um, I remember one day I had a dream about my father, and the dream was, he was very young looking, handsome as always. He had his favorite clothes on, Reeboks, sweatshirt, pants, and Reebok shoes. He's a big Reebok person. I remember he was saying to me in his dream, "Do you not know what God has for you? You are wasting so much time with people and all the wrong things that this man, that God is trying to put you in position so he can show you and help the people around you and people that you will come across." He said, "If you don't get yourself together right now, I guarantee you things will not end well for you." He said, I'm telling you this because I love you as a son, because I was once a father to you, that you are the best person that you can be if you just put your foot down and keep your head up. Stop worrying about the things that's affecting you and start doing the things that can mold you into the best version of yourself. He said, God gave you a prophecy years ago. Do it. Do it now. Start now. He said, I don't care how long it takes. Start now. Do it right now. And I'll never forget, he just walked away. He walked into this bright white light in front of me. And I got off the couch and I ran towards it. And after I just woke up, I woke up and tears came down my eyes. I was crying for about maybe an hour or two, maybe. I just kept tearing, because I missed this man so much. Like, this man meant so much to me in the world. I called my mother and I said, "Mom, like, Dad came into my life. Like, he came into my dream. Like, God used him to talk to me." Because I prayed, after my dad passed, to see where he was at, in eternity. And now I know where he's at. So it gave even more peace where he's at. And so that was my answer, and God used him to talk to me. So yeah, that was a deep story. I share with people to this day. I still share with people because people need to know, where you're at in life and how you can get there. So I'm just motivated all the way around by him. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be the man I am today. Because his blessings that was in him flew through me, my sibling, and people around us. And so I will continue to be that person for my family and for people like you and people all over this world.
Awesome. Keep doing what you love. Keep
That's all
it
you
up.
can do. So all you can do. That's all you can do. Oh man, I'm got emotional right there. Wow. Oh man, let me just get myself together real quick.
Wow, that hour sure went by really fast.
I didn't even realize it, Jen. It is an hour and 10 minutes. I don't want to hold you too long. I want to ask you two more questions, and then we can wrap it up from there.
Okay.
So my next question to you is, if you can see somebody right now, I'm not saying it has to be a death or anything like that, but if it's someone that's currently still living, who's currently um, still alive and doing well, and you was to come across them, what would be some encouragement you could give to that person now that you are where you at right now, and how you conquered so much, what would you tell that person? If you had any beef with them or any type of, not animosity, I don't want to say that, but things just didn't go well at the given time. What would you tell them?
Wow. Wow. Oh, okay.
I had to. I
I'm
had to.
gonna get a little vulnerable here for a second. um, how about wow.
Take your
Okay.
time. Take your time.
Well, and you said someone that like we left at a crossroads, like where I could go back and say, "Hey, listen, because this person I will not speak to. I'm I don't know what is that on the bottom of the screen. Let me see something. Oh, is that a comment?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I clicked it by
That's
accident.
okay. It's
But
okay. Threw
yeah,
me
I'm
off.
new to this. Well, we can read it. We can read it. It says here, respect is everything to me. If you don't respect me and those around me, then you mean nothing to me. To quote my late uncle, people can disrespect you once. After that, they don't deserve second chances.
Well, here's the thing with that it depends on the disrespect and your perspective on it, because we all have egos, and sometimes we have to look at things like some people, they don't really mean to disrespect you. They may not look at it as, you know what, here's a good one. If you don't say to someone your boundaries, how do they know what your boundaries are? Some people don't like to be touched. Some people don't want to, like, there's so many people with so many triggers and all that. So if it's someone outside of your normal realm, someone out on the street that didn't like something that you said, or you didn't hold a door open for them and they turn around and they're like really rude to you, that's where we have to kind of sit back for a second and like, okay, what's going on? I had some guy on the road not too long ago, like cut me off and fly past me and like barreled down the road like a jerk. And I'm like, oh my God, the first thing I wanted to do is be like, yeah, give him the finger. And I'm like, maybe his wife or his baby's in like in the hospital, or maybe there's an emergency and something's going on. And how do I know that? You know what I mean? So I agree, like for a big disrespect, when you already told someone your boundaries, but if someone doesn't know your boundaries, I always say what my boundaries are. And if I don't like something, I'll be like, listen, don't do it. Please don't do that again. And if they do, then you're done. But I have to make sure I'm in line with that. I don't walk around, don't step on my sneakers, like, or, kind of thing. Like, it's a very, very tricky thing. So, but, if someone is really disrespecting your boundaries and you've made it clear, then you don't have to be anywhere around them. They don't have to, you know, you don't have to deal with them at all. If you do, then um, that's where you take it to a different level and figure out what's going to be good for you. I don't, it just depends on the situation. That was weird how that totally popped up, but does that
Maybe
mean
it was
I got
meant.
out of the question? I'm just kidding.
Maybe
I
it
don't
was meant.
It's whatever. It's whatever. So,
Yeah.
hmm. Uh, I guess because it's so relevant in my life, I'm just gonna say it anyway. So I went through this time where in my personal life, where I was dating someone, and I don't talk to him anymore, and I really don't want to. But if I had an opportunity to go back, I think I would take more ownership of what happened to me. As like we spoke about earlier, I was really in control of my own what I did. Like I have to realize that things that I do, me putting up a boundary, or you know what I mean, like I allowed things knowing that it may not be great for me. So I think I would go back and take ownership for it and still choose not to, have that person in my life. But I think I would go back and just say my piece, and then walk away and forgive them for how I felt during that time, and what happened to me. Forgive them and forgive myself too. Take that responsibility and accountability for something instead of blaming someone. You did this, you did that. You know, it's really, I allowed it. If I'm in a relationship with someone, or if I'm friends with someone, and I'm allowing them, if I'm going to stay in it and I don't like something, I'm allowing it. What can I say? I have to take responsibility. So that's probably what. Did that answer the question without having to get too
Yeah, we all been there. So
We've
uh,
all been there.
yeah, we all been there. I definitely been there, so I can't say.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's just the first thing that popped in my head, so
Yeah,
whatever, it's whatever. I mean, yeah, yeah, everything else I kinda let go. I don't hold on to things very long,
yeah,
know? Like, if someone's mad at, like, if I get upset, I'm not holding on to that, I'm letting it go. It's not worth it. So I can't
yeah.
remember. I lose that memory of it because 'cause I'm not thinking about it, so but that
Same here. Yeah, there's no need to hold on to anything at all, especially if it's affecting your peace. Nah, let that go. It's hard, but trust me, I think once you let it go, you feel more relief and you feel more active. It's doing more things, and next thing you know, your blessings right in front of you. So yeah,
do
that's
that,
the best thing.
do that.
Okay, so my next and last question, Jen. Hmm. Well, that's all right. I already know this anyway. If someone was to get on this podcast, you know, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or a couple months from now, if they was to get on this podcast and they see this platform, see this right now, what encouragement, or if they was to see you in person or at your gym, um, or paintball field, I say that as well. What encouragement would you give to them? Being as though this topic is motivation and condition. what encouragement would you give to them? And how can they, or I'm sorry, how can it better them as a person? Being as though they saw this and they're just like, man, I don't know how to really deal with a lot of things in my life, but I'm trying. But when I see this podcast, I just hear so many great things. But I have to ask you a personal question, Jen. You know, and my personal question is, how do you deal with things that you deal with? Something like that. They would say, I don't know. But yeah, you can answer that for me, Jen. What would be something that you would tell them?
Well, I think, and I'm like not a perfect person. So in my past, I've had definitely a learning experience, but to live in my integrity, to follow like my intuition too as well, but to live in my integrity, to do the things that um, are in line with my goals. So number one would be get your goals together. Like a lot of people don't have goals. So that's number one. To get that motivation, you have to have a goal. So, in line with my goals, following the things that are in line with it. And if something doesn't match up or I'm starting, my intuition is there to speak up and communication and to know when it's time to be able to communicate things to make my life better. Communication is such a big thing, whether it's family, relationships, work, everything takes communication. So I think that following in line with my integrity on what I want to do for myself is really important. Um, so I would definitely tell them, like, do what you say you're going to do, and if it changes, it's okay. But follow, like, you really got to follow what's good for you. And like, if I tell you right now, I'm like, all right, I'm going on a diet program or whatever, and this is what I'm doing, and I'm here talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, 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 I make that about my life. But then tomorrow, I go and have like 3 donuts, like, and then I feel like crap, like that just took me out of my realm. So, as much as you can, follow what you say and follow everything else what's in line with what you say. And try not to veer off your path. And just remember, like, self forgiveness too. Self forgiveness is a big one. We get so angry with ourselves and we beat ourselves up. And you know how many people talk crap about themselves to themselves? I mean, like, do you know how powerful your words are? Like, hello, you're gonna call yourself a name, and then like you really have to look at those things, like, and then you get these. I mean, like, these ladies or this guy like, oh, like, I'm no good, or I'm stupid, or I'm like ugly, and really,
Yeah.
like, come on, get with it. You can't think that way about yourself and talk about yourself that way. If you And the confidence is number, like, that's a big one too. You have to be confident. If you're not confident, people aren't going to trust you. If you don't have confidence in yourself, and know, now confidence comes from, hey, I'm doing this, and this is in line with this, and I'm not veering off my path. But if I do, guess what? I forgive myself, I get back on my path. But I'm confident that I'm going to do this. I'm confident that I'm a good person. I'm confident of who I am. I can walk down the street head held high. I'm confident. Guess what? People are going to see that. They see that confidence. But if you don't think good about yourself, who do you think's going to think good about you? You thinking you're going to get your validation from someone else? I don't think so. I do not think so. I think that knowing the person that you are, if you don't know who you are, you need to find out who you are. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you, Elijah? Who am I? I'm a healer. I know who I am. I'm confident on what I do and who I'm with and how I feel and how I present myself. And if I veer off the path, guess what? It happens. If I'm not nice to someone, there's a reason behind it. Either I got something going on in the background and I need to check myself, or they did something that triggered me. But guess what? I'm gonna make it right. It's all a perspective. Sorry, I got really passionate on that one. At least I didn't cry. Hey, girl, come on in. Speaking of, I know we're ending our podcast, but this is my best friend. I might as well introduce her now. This is one of my best friends. This is Linda. You got to come down a little bit.
Hi, Linda.
There. So this is one of my.
Hi.
You sit down. Okay. So this is when we talked about having people in line with your goals. Go ahead, show them the muscles. But like this is, can you see us okay? Is it dark in here?
It's a little dark.
Hold on. I'll turn on the light. You're live on social media. You're live.
Oh my God.
You're live on YouTube. Okay, stop. You're live.
Okay, well.
So this is my we motivate each other. So this is we talked about surrounding ourselves with people that, you know, are in line with our goals. So here is one of my best friends, and we share a lot of the mindset, the same goals, and we motivate each other. But guess what? Sometimes she's not around, and guess what? Then I got to pick up the slack on myself and not depend on her to make sure that she keeps me in line. I got myself in line too. Mm-hmm. And we complement each other.
I'm assuming she's the person that be in the videos on your Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. I do see you from time to time. So nice to meet you, best friend.
This is too. Linda.
Yeah, me.
Wow.
I was just working out, so you got to excuse the way I'm dressed.
I need to work out more often. I haven't worked out in some time.
Yeah, I run every day after work. It like really helps my stress level. Yeah. Okay. And I don't like to sit for too long because,
I know. Thank you. Thank you for popping in. I told her if I was running late just to pop in and see me. So.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. It was so nice to meet her.
Yeah, you too. Yeah.
Watch Drills for Skills. Hey guys, just everybody that's watching. So, you know, if you want to know where I'm from and what I'm about, on Target Paintball, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Also, check out Drills for Skills Sports. Mm-hmm. Linda and her husband, actually, Coach Omar is he's good friend. He was good friends with Bob Proctor before he passed. You know, he was on stage with him, and you know, he's definitely motivational.
Mm-hmm. Wait, this is
Omar. Yeah.
Man, I need to meet him. ASAP.
He will have you ripped big time.
Yeah, me and this guy got so much in common. I just followed him a few days ago.
He told me about you. As soon as you said that, because he remembers people and he really liked you. Yeah, he was like, man, he's really smart. And he was like, you know, he's very knowledgeable. And he had nothing but good things to say about
you. Same thing about him as well. I have watched his
stuff. It's like a warm hug. Like you see his light.
I can see it right now. If I was me, I'm probably give him a big behind hug. I wouldn't even realize
like it changes. Like that's just him. Like he doesn't argue.
Yeah. I don't argue either.
No judgment, you know, we just live our life as, you know.
Yeah.
Well, Omar does a lot of online programs. Mm-hmm. So for working out and for motivation, mindset, you know, personal, all kinds of stuff. So check out Drills for Skills, see what they're about. It's definitely a great place to be. And that's who I surround myself with. So if you want to know a little bit more about me and how I got to where I'm at in my life, then you can look at Drills for Skills, because these are the people that that have been there for me and with me, and you know, I've learned everything I've learned.
Yeah.
You know, so
Me too.
yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Well, people, there you have it. You heard it right there. You can always find Jenny States at OTP, which is On Target Action Park, and you can also find her at Drills for Skills Sports Training. You know, and hopefully there you learn a lot as always. But make a long story short, you know, feel free to check out this podcast anytime you want. It's always be up on my YouTube channel, Instagram. Reach out to me at any time, at any moment. And also, I have a few things coming up, which is my website. Yes, our website will be coming up very soon. I will be having all the merchandise on there. I'll be having my videos on there as well to tune in. So stay tuned for all of that. Stay tuned for the next event, which is Living Dead.
I was just gonna ask
Yeah,
you. I'm like,
okay.
oh, let me just do a little more. Like, do a little more. On Target Paintball, yes. So we have the Living Dead event coming up September 24th, the 23rd, the night before. We're gonna have some activities, so it's included. You know, come out camping. You can camp out. You just have to register for that. We are having Winter Brawl on December 17th. We also have a great airsoft community. So that September 30th, we're having an event for that. But just come on out to On Target, you know, if you can, and you're at the point where you can, you know, drive over and spend some time with us over there. We've got a great community. We've got a customer appreciation program, and we're open Wednesday nights until like the end of October. So yeah, come on out.
Oh, and don't forget to check out every first Saturday of the month, which is the Mag Day Meal at OTP. And also Winter Brawl. I will be the general for Winter Brawl. My XO is GQ MagFed. And yes, we will be on the MagFed side, rocking for MagFed.
GQ, my boy.
Well, other than everybody, thanks for having me. I mean, thanks for being on this podcast. I enjoy everyone. Comments. Jen, thank you so much. And stay tuned for the next podcast, which we'll be having very soon, very shortly. Other than that, take care. Love everyone. Be safe. Profit out.
Out.